What's up everybody, it's Prashant here. Welcome to my YouTube channel and thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about yet another family of tax advantage accounts that you can and should be using to save and invest your money. As you know from the topic of this video, I'm going to be talking about college savings accounts. Typically, these are used by parents to save money for college for their children or even by grandparents for their grandchildren, but actually they can be used for yourself as well. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to be telling you which account I opened for my own daughter and how to open that account for yourself if you wanted to, so stick around to the end. Before we get deep into this video, I'm going to ask you to smash that like button and the subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. In fact, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to do it right now. And done. Thank you. There are actually many different types of college accounts that you can use to save for college in America, including the UGMA, the UTMA, the Coverdell ESAs, and the 529. Before we talk about these specific accounts, let us first discuss why it is a good idea to start saving for your kids' college now. Both my wife and I went to college and it worked out pretty well for us. While I definitely don't think that college is necessary for everybody, it is what I know, and it is safe to say that we want our kids to go to college also. So let's say you have a young child right now and you have no idea whether they're going to want to go to college when they're 18 or not. How could you? Here's the thing, you can always open a college savings account right now and start investing within it. Now let's say your child grows up and is like in the early years of high school, and let's say they don't want to go to college after all. Well, you can always use the money that you saved in a college savings account to pay for like high school education as well as a trade school education. On top of this, there are a lot of tax benefits that come with investing within a college savings accounts. So this is definitely a vehicle that you should explore whether or not you're sure your kid is going to go to college in 18 years or so. Okay, now let's say that you're curious about college savings accounts, but you're not sold on the idea yet. Well, let me tell you about the tax advantages. While contributions are typically made with after-tax contributions, all of the money grows tax deferred and can be withdrawn tax-free for qualified expenses. These qualified expenses include tuition, room and board, and a few other things that are related to going to college. Now, if you're thinking, Prashant, do I really need to be thinking about my kids' college expenses already? Now, let me give you a reality check. According to this handy calculator from Vanguard, if you've got a 1-year-old and they're going to go to college at 18, the cost of a 4-year education will be about $220,000. This is based on the assumption that college expenses today are about $22,000, which is pretty reasonable from my own experience, and that college expenses will increase year over year by 5%. Again, seems pretty reasonable. Now you tell me, do you want to be in a situation where your child is in high school and you're just now starting to think about college expenses? That would be a pretty difficult situation to be in. Now you could say, hey, they can always go and get a student loan. Well, sure, that's definitely an option. But then if they do that, they have to carry that burden for a long time, maybe into their 30s or even 40s to pay that off. Now, I'm not saying that is necessarily a bad option, but it's certainly something that will become a baggage on their life, on their financial life after they graduate and they're trying to get a mortgage or car loan or whatever. So at least for me personally, if there is something that I could do to set my child up for success in college, I would definitely want to do that. Now, I know there are some discussions among some progressive lawmakers to make college free and accessible to all, but I am a little bit of a pessimist or maybe just a realist, and I just want to be prepared just in case that doesn't happen, and I want to make sure that my child has an opportunity to be financially successful in life when they get to that stage. Alright, now let us talk about some specific college savings accounts. The first two we're going to tackle are the Uniform Gifts to Minors Act or UGMA accounts and the Uniform Transfers to Minor Act or UTMA accounts. Both of these are custodial accounts, so this means that the assets within the accounts are held in the beneficiary's name, usually the child, held in trust by a trustee, usually the parent, until the child comes of age, which can be 18 or 21 depending on the state that you live in. Now remember, because it is a custodial account, once the parent or trustee puts the money in, it cannot be withdrawn until the child or the beneficiary is 18 or 21 years of age. The second thing to note is that this is the child or the beneficiary's money, 100% their money. Once the money is theirs and they assume control of it, once they turn 18 or 21, they can do whatever they want with this money. They can sell the stock and go buy a Mustang for all they care. You as a parent or the trustee has no control over what the beneficiary would end up doing with this money afterwards. One big disadvantage of these accounts is that the withdrawals are taxable. Now, it is counted as income for the beneficiary, for the child, so usually it will be a lower tax bracket than their parent, but still something to consider. Now, in summary, UGMA and UTMA accounts are custodial accounts. The money can be used for whatever purpose, and the gains are taxable. Moving on, let's talk about the Coverdell Education Savings Accounts, or Coverdell ESAs. Now, overall, this is a pretty good account. Investments grow tax-free, and withdrawals are tax-free also if used for qualified expenses. If you end up using the money for non-qualified expenses, you have to pay a 10% penalty, and taxes are owed on the gains. Pretty standard. You can open as many ESAs as you want, but there is a cap on contributions of $2,000 per beneficiary. So if there are 10 ESAs for a single child, the contributions can all add up to only $2,000 per year. Now, $2,000 is not a small amount, but keeping in mind the rapidly rising cost of college in America, I can see as this being a problem further down the line. Now, the other thing that I don't like is that there is an income limit for the parents for this type of account. For single filers, it's $110,000, and for couples, it's $220,000. Next, let us talk about my favorite type of college savings account, the 529. This is actually the type of account that I've opened for my daughter, so you know I walk the walk. Let me just say that I think the 529 is awesome. All your money invested grows tax-free, and withdrawals are tax-free for qualified expenses. And if you make an unqualified expense, just like the last one, there is a penalty of 10% and you owe taxes on the gains. Now, here's the thing that I really like about the 529 over the UGMA or UTMA. And that is that the contributor or the parent or you are in complete control of this account, not the beneficiary, not the child. Now, I'm not saying that somebody's child cannot be trusted, but in general, I would be scared of giving an 18-year-old $100,000 and saying, hey, use it for an education, and hope they actually do. I'm like really worried there's going to be a brand new red Mustang in my driveway the next day. I don't want to do that, so I really like that the 529 is controlled by the parent. As a parent, you can use that money for one child, or if that child doesn't want to go to college and you have another child, you can easily transfer that money. You can just change the beneficiary, and you can use the money for the second child. And even if the first child uses college and maybe you've done really well and you've saved extra money and there's some money left over, you can use the leftover money for the second child. On top of this, anybody can contribute. There are no income limits. So the parents can contribute, a grandparent can contribute, and all of that money can grow tax-free for a long time before the kid is ready to go to college. The final thing is that the overall contribution limits are really high, like $300,000 or even $500,000 high. So you can save a substantial amount of money to be able to pay for college. There are two subtypes of the 529 plan, the college savings plan and the prepaid tuition plans. The college savings plan is pretty conventional. You use your money to invest in stocks or mutual funds, and when your kid is ready to go to college, you liquidate your holdings and you use the money to pay for college then. In the prepaid tuition plan, you actually buy college credits at today's rate to be redeemed for future education. So what you do is that you accumulate to buy enough college credits now at today's rates or whenever you can buy them, and hope that that's enough for your kid's college education in the future. So what you're basically doing is that you're giving an interest-free loan to the college for 18 years. Can someone give me an interest-free loan for 18 years? So my favorite is the college savings plan, which is the first one, and that's actually the one that I use for my daughter. Okay guys, as promised, before we end this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly which 529 account I opened. The annoying thing about the 529 plan is that each state offers its own plan. That's right, all 50 states and DC offer at least one 529 plan. Each state has its own website where you can go, you can learn about their 529 plan, their pros and cons, select which one you want, and open an account with them. As far as I know, you don't actually have to be a resident of the state in which you open your 529 account. In general, you want to open a 529 account in the state that you reside because the state will give you a tax break on the state income taxes when you open a 529 account with them. Now, what I did was a little different. I know I want to move out of Illinois, where I currently live, so the tax advantage was not a big draw for me. All I wanted was an easy to open and easy to manage account. Luckily, after doing some research, I found out that you can actually open 529 accounts with great brokerages. So I went to my favorite brokerage, Vanguard, and did some research and ended up opening a Vanguard 529 college savings plan account. Now, the Nevada College Savings Plan did have a minimum opening balance requirement of $3,000, which we put in, and we also put in an additional $200 every month. Now, looking again at Vanguard's handy-dandy calculator, we see that we should have about $115,000 saved up by the time my daughter is ready to go to college, which will cover about 50% of a 4-year college degree. Now, of course, if we're able to increase our contributions, maybe we can increase this to 80 or even 100%. Or maybe she could get a college loan or student loan for the remainder, or get a part-time job, or maybe some combination of the above to cover the remainder of her costs. Now remember, just because I opened the 529 account under the Nevada program, that does not mean that my daughter has to go to college in Nevada. When my daughter is college age, I can use that money to pay for college anywhere in the United States and even some schools abroad. So this is a college savings account that I would recommend you look into if you're considering opening one for your child. The Vanguard Nevada 529 College Savings Plan. On Vanguard's website, there are a few other state plans that I recommend looking into, such as the Iowa one and the New York one. So if you live in one of those states, consider looking into those as well. Now, obviously, I'm not a tax professional or an investment advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So please do your own due diligence and consult a tax or investment professional for advice if you need it. So that's all I have for you guys in today's video. I really hope that you found this video useful and interesting, and I hope that at least one of you will open a 529 college savings account for your child. Please remember to smash the like button and the subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm, and click the bell icon to be notified instantly when I post a new video. I post at least one new video every week with great new financial content, and I would love to see you back here. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, handles down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.